Welcome to Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings, and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wilding in the stand. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gonna be our year. We're here drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring. Yeah.
What's up, Kings fans? Welcome back to Royal Rebounds, a Sacramento Kings YouTube channel for fans by fans. The Kings lose tonight 131-115 to the New York Knicks, and Julius Randle scores more than De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis combined. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to smash that like button, and if you would like to join the Royal family with Calvin, Vinny, and I, hit that subscribe button before the shot clock expires.
Right, your very own Sacramento Kings paper bags will be available on the Royal Rebounds website soon. Go Sacs.
If you're listening via your favorite podcast platform, we would appreciate a 5-star rating. And if you would like to be a part of the show, you can always join us live after every game on YouTube. We'll be right back with your Kings Nightcap. We're here, we're drinking beers, and we're talking about your Sacramento Kings. Oh, man, that was tough.
I got a 15%er tonight, Barry.
Yeah, I got a couple beers. You can see I've been having a good time here. That's rough, man. I've never worn a bag on my face before, and I hope to never do it again. But that's how I'm feeling right now.
I don't know how anybody has to do that or does that for an entire game. Like that would have been tough.
Yeah, we need to, I guess, get a better eye hole cutter guy. Get him on the payroll here, because I can only see.
Pretty good for a last minute throw together there.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in. What's up to everybody here in the chat? I see Mike, Bruce, Brian, Xavier, Ramon, Alex, Trevor, Felipe. Welcome, guys. Sean, welcome, everybody. Unfortunately, the Kings do lose tonight, 131-115 to the New York Knicks. Calvin, I don't know if I'm more mad at the Kings or if I'm mad at myself for thinking that the Kings actually had a chance in this game.
I'm with you. I didn't think they had a chance. I thought this game was over at halftime. I really did. And it was over, just not the way that I expected it to be.
Yeah, ridiculous game. And, just to give you a little insight here as to coming into this game, the Knicks were 4-17 in their last 21 games. They've been playing absolutely horrible. Yep. They lost a buzzer beater to the Suns on Friday. Then they end up beating the Clippers. And then they end up beating the Kings tonight, fueled by some amazing three-point shooting in the second half. And they just outscored the Kings.
Yeah, I mean, to some degree, what are you going to do, right? Julius Randle is shooting like 20-something% from three on the season. Shot at 41% from three last year. But this year, he's just been all over the map shooting-wise. He couldn't miss in that second half. You might want to make him put the ball on the floor at some point. How many step back to the left threes did the guy take? That was his only move, and he was not contested on any of them. So just I'm at a loss for words, man. I really am. Like, the Kings absolutely had such a great game plan to start this game off. They got the ball inside to Sabonis on the low block. It's exactly what we talked about on our last show.
Yep.
They did it right away. They did it early and often, built a great lead, 21 free throw attempts in the first half. And then it was like they came out in the second half and it was like, okay, this is a brand new game. Like we haven't even played these guys yet. We're just going to, throw it together, and the ball movement went away.
Yep.
Everything good went away. And defensively, I mean, it wasn't like they were terrible, They weren't just allowing the Mavericks to get to the basket at will, but they weren't contesting any threes, and the Knicks couldn't miss. And offensive rebounds again killed them.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. I know during the game today they were talking about a moment, Julius Randle playing with Kobe Bryant when they were on the road, and Kobe stopped Julius one time, and he's like, "Hey, man, where are you going?" And he's like, "I'm going out with my friends." He's like, "No, you're not. We're going to a gym to get some shots up." And I guess that's a routine now for him. So all I want to know is who left the gym open in Sacramento, because this dude was shooting lights out in the game.
It's who left the gym open in Phoenix or in L.A. that let him get to this point in Sacramento.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of hate here for Coach Gentry in the chat. I'm so mixed on this subject because I feel like, yes, a better coach could do better and it would reflect in these wins. But, I mean, it's not really his fault at this point, right? Like, he was put in such a bad position. And we'll talk about that here a little bit later. But, you know, De'Aaron Fox was coming off of a career-high 44 points, tied a career high in the last game. I think 24 points tonight for him. The Kings just finished up a 5-game road trip. They went 2-3. They had some home cooking. They started out really hot in this game, 12-2 start. I saw a bunch of different runs. The Kings were up by like 21 at one point in this game. And like I texted you, when they were up 21, I was saying to myself, no way. Is this happening again? Is it happening again? I don't know why. I just had that feeling. If you guys want to blame me for jinxing them, that's totally cool. I'll take all the responsibility. But it's just unfortunate, man. It really is.
It's more than unfortunate. I don't know how many times it's happened in NBA history that a team blows 3 consecutive 17-point or more leads.
Yeah.
And at halftime. How many times has that ever happened?
I mean, you look at halftime, you got Julius Randle with 3 fouls, Mitchell Robinson with 3 fouls. He ends up not even returning the game, said he was out with an illness for the second half, which hopefully this doesn't have any COVID-type impact on the Kings. The Kings are up 63-48 at halftime. And, you know, Sabonis already had a double-double. Fox was on triple-double watch.
Yep.
And then the Knicks just blow it open in the third. I think 44-24, they outscored the Kings in the third quarter, and then they score another 39 points in the fourth quarter. It's crazy. Like, you give up 83 points in a half. 83 points. It doesn't matter how much you're up. If you're up 40 and you give up 83 and a half, like, no lead is safe at all.
No lead is safe at all. Julius Randle's a great player. He had a great game, but They had the Knicks right where they wanted them. Everybody was in foul trouble in that first half. And again, you stop going inside early on in that second half. They had an opportunity to get another 1, maybe 2 fouls on Julius Randle. And then, you know, maybe he comes back and still has a big fourth quarter, but he's not putting up a career high at that point. Career high in 3-point field goal attempts made. Yeah,
shout out to Brian here. Thank you, Brian, for some more beer money as much needed.
Yeah, Peja's going to need all he can get tonight.
Yeah, Peja needs an IV, one of those things in Vegas. He needs a lot of different things. What's up, Fred? Good to see you here. Well, Calvin, I'm ready to look at it. Let's take a look here at the Julius Erving-sponsored box score tonight. And the only reason we're laughing is because this really does hurt inside, and that's the only way I can, I can deal with it.
It's comical at some point, right? Like, let me get this lined up for you, Vinny. There we go.
Felipe misses Terrence Davis. So do I, Felipe.
Yeah.
I miss everybody that's not playing right now.
Right? Like, never thought I'd hear those words, but it's true. De'Aaron Fox, another 40-minute game, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal. He had a good game overall. That first half, he was incredible, though. I sent out a tweet at halftime saying, this is the De'Aaron Fox that the Kings need. 44 points is great, but the team is so much better when he's the one initiating the offense and looking to get other guys involved. Sabonis is going to do that no matter what.
Yeah.
But if De'Aaron Fox is doing that as well, the Kings are a different team. Clearly, from first half to second half of this game. Harrison Barnes, another very solid game from him. All these guys, much better first halves, obviously, than second half. But 23 points on 7 of 11 shooting, 3 rebounds. Sabonis gets ejected there at the end of the game, but finishes with 19 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists.
That's the nicest ejection I've ever seen. He's just like, oh, and then he just walks away and just out.
Yep. Yeah, I would have been pretty pissed if I was him as well, but man.
More referee bad calls, man. Just more of them that we've seen. And we're not blaming any of these losses on it, but we see Gentry pick up a technical.
Here's the thing. Everybody's going to say that was a bad call.
Yeah.
But that's what officials are looking for. In real time, when you see someone put their hand on somebody's back as they're driving to the basket and then they fall to the ground, you can say it wasn't a foul, it wasn't enough contact, all that stuff. In real time, that's what these guys are looking for, so that they're going to call that every time.
No, I agree with you. My problem is that it's not the same on both ends. We saw Sabonis get beat up in this game again and barely get any calls.
My counter to that is going to be the Kings shot 21 free throws in the first half and the Knicks shot 9.
Yep.
So you knew there was going to be some evening out to that. Like that's just unfortunately that's the way it goes. I mean, it's like balls and strikes in baseball, right? Mm-hmm. They don't have a robot calling them. It's a human being calling them. So it's going to even out like that eventually. They didn't lose this game on any foul call. I don't want to. Please don't give this team that excuse.
No, I'm not giving that. And we saw them release the 2-minute report from the last game, and they took back another call and said the Kings should have won this game too.
Yeah. Again, I wish they wouldn't do those or make those public, but whatever.
It's just frustrating.
So yeah. Anyway, that's the box score. 13 points for DiVincenzo and 10 for Mitchell off the bench.
Dude. Downtown Dante was in the building.
He made an appearance.
He was 3 for 3 from three-point range at one point. And like every shot was right there. Even his misses. No air balls tonight. They were all very close.
3 of 6 overall from 3. I think that's the second straight game he went 3 of 6 actually from 3.
And just the rebounding for him is like so incredible, man. It really is. Like to think that this guy had a major ankle injury and he's coming back from that, and he's still got his hops and's going after all these balls and getting these rebounds. Yeah. It's big. It's big. Well, are you naming Julius as the king of the game?
I mean, how could you not? I think you'd just be lying to yourself if you didn't have Julius Randle as the king of this game.
RJ Barrett had an incredible game too.
He did have a very good game. He's had a really solid season. He's definitely improved.
We saw Cam Reddish head to the locker room with that shoulder injury that did not look good at all. Yeah, that was
not a good fall.
But yeah, it's crazy. It is. It's crazy. I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm stunned just looking at these stats again. Like, this is another game that the Kings they didn't deserve to win. Like, straight up, they did not deserve to win this game at all. And that's an understatement because when you lose by 16 points, at the end you're like, oh, they weren't in this game. But they were in this game. They were in control of this game for a long time.
They've got to be so just mentally broken at this point, right? Like, I mean, as soon as the Knicks, got back within single digits, you could just see it on everybody's faces. The same thing that you're saying. Oh, no, here we go again.
Yeah.
And from there, just the effort, everything, they're a step slower on all the rotations, cutting off guys to the basket. Offensively, they look like they don't know how to play basketball.
It's like the avalanche effect, right? Yeah. Where it's like, oh, great, here it's coming again, and then you get the nerves up, and then you don't make shots, and it just kind of compiles. They don't have a Buddy Hield to shoot them back in the game, right, Calvin?
No, or continue to shoot them out of it.
That's sarcasm, guys. That is sarcasm. So the thing that really trips me out, Calvin, is I'm looking here at team stats. The Knicks shot 42.9. I'm going to call that 43% from three-point range in this game. They were 4 of 19 in the first half. Yeah. 4 of 19.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of that is, the Kings the Knicks just got hot, right? But it's also not rotating. It's also, Sabonis is a great player, but if he gets a matchup where he has to guard someone on the perimeter, that's a big, red alert going off for me. He just can't. He'll try. He'll give a good effort, but he's not. His foot speed isn't good enough. His lateral quickness isn't good enough, and so that's why Julius Randle had all those open looks, because he's given him space, knowing that if he gets up into his grill, he's just going to go right by him. So it's a combination of both of those things, right? It's like at some point when a guy hits 6 or 7 threes in a row, you got to make him put the ball on the floor. But at the same time, Sabonis is not the guy to get up in his grill and do that. So it's a combination of everything. Again, it's coaching. We talked about on the last show Damian Jones and Sabonis playing together, right? Mm-hmm. We saw them play together for a good amount of time today. And this is exactly why I said I didn't want to do it, because you take Sabonis and you put him away from the basket when they're on the court together. He's got to be down low. Yeah. He absolutely has to be catching the ball in the low post. It's okay to flash him to the high post every once in a while, but he's got to be an interior force for this team.
Yeah, and that's basically what we've been talking about with De'Aaron Fox, right? Like, if he could make this three-point shot consistently, he could destroy teams by just make a couple threes, then they guard up on him like Sabonis should have, and then he could just blow past people and make it right to the rack. And we saw that tonight. Like you were saying, the first half of this game, this dude looked unstoppable. Like, some of these layups that he's making, the difficulty factor is incredible. I know a lot of people consider Kyrie Irving like the layup king, but I'm looking at De'Aaron Fox during some of these layups, and I'm like, wow, how is he making that? How is he in some of the passes? Did you see that little pass with English right down the middle?
Beautiful pass
in the first part, and I think he had a wraparound pass too, right behind the basket that was wonderful as well. But yeah, they stopped doing that all in the second half. And let's jump here into your keys to the game, because I'm feeling like in the future here we need to have keys for the first and the second half. Because
we might have to start doing that. We might have to. Well, key number 1 seems like a pretty obvious one now. What are you going to do with Julius Randle? But seriously, my question was, who would get the matchup, first of all, because I didn't like Sabonis on him. Trey Lyles, I don't really like Trey Lyles on him either, but Harrison Barnes, as versatile of a defender as he is, he's too small to stick with him. He can't body him up in the post. I mean, Julius Randle is just a matchup nightmare for this team. And you clearly saw that in the second half. The Kings' best defense against him was getting him into foul trouble early, and then they stopped going inside and trying to get free throws. So number 2 was rebound. You look at the rebounds, Knicks out-rebounded Sacramento by 7, but it was really the offensive boards that hurt them. 9 for the Knicks, just 4 for Sacramento. And then number 3 was cut off the initial drive, which even if they did that, it didn't matter today because the Knicks were, as Mark Jones likes to say, hotter than fish grease in that second half.
Well, talking about the free throws here, De'Aaron Fox did have 8 free throw attempts in this game. He only made 3 of those, which was unfortunate. But I was surprised. Yeah. I was looking here at the stats today. De'Aaron Fox is actually shooting career numbers this year from free throw, which is crazy because we've seen him miss.
He's definitely improved.
We've seen him miss a lot of them.
He's still not where all of us Kings fans would like him to be, but he's getting close. This year he's been much better.
What do you mean, B. Walson? Even Barry could make 30% of the threes. I don't know.
Oh, damn. Shots fired.
If that's a good or a bad thing.
Shots fired, man. B. Walson, you should come play with us sometimes. Barry's got a shot.
I got to heal up from football this weekend first. I can't even move. Yeah, that's right, Mike. I shoot lights out from 3. You should have known that. Remember, you were my, what was he? I'm trying to remember what grade this was in, but he was like my TA in my PE class.
Yeah.
And I think it was 10th grade. And Mike had a beard already, and he's just like, I'm like, I look like I'm 12 and you're like a grown man and you're my TA.
Remember when Mike wore cornrows to one of the games?
Yeah.
Came out in the starting lineup for a legend. Shout out Mike Monticello for that. That was great.
Badass. I actually might do cornrows pretty soon here for one of these games.
There you go.
I think I might start doing it for football because my hair just gets all over the place. I can't keep it under control. So I might be out there with my gold chain and my cornrows. No sticky gloves though.
No sticky gloves.
No, I don't play that game. But yeah, sorry guys. Back to the game here. I'd love to see De'Aaron Fox shoot the ball a little bit better from three-point range and also from the free throw line, but I got to give him credit. He's improving every year. That's good. But none of those free throws are going to make an impact on this game at all. Like the Kings just they needed a lot
They would have
more.
made an impact in a close game for sure. But yeah, like I want to still give De'Aaron Fox a lot of credit because he's played like an all-star since the Sabonis trade, really. I mean, it hasn't been – sure, there's stuff that he could do better, but to have your franchise guy or, your second in line, whatever – I don't know if some people view Sabonis as a better player than De'Aaron Fox. I don't, personally. Yeah. Sabonis has better accolades. He's an all-star. But he plays a different position. De'Aaron Fox is a much more talented basketball player than Domantas Sabonis. But he's played amazing. I mean, he's shooting over 55% from the field, like 26 points per game. The dude has been really, really, really good as of late. So you have to give him credit where credit's due. The problem is that the team is broken.
Yeah, and I actually want to do a little Fox-Sabonis check-in here in the next part of the show where we're going to break down the last 11 games because it has been 11 games so far, and the Kings are 4-7 in those games. B. Walston, I think that Monty said this was a trade to try and win now and build for the future. So hopefully he was trying to hit both of those. I don't think you can say the Kings are worse now than they were before because it's better all around player. It's about the same at this point, right? 4-7. I don't know exactly where they were when they made the trade, but I want to say 15 games under 500, which is not good at all. So I mean, we're still in the same place, but we don't have to watch Buddy Chuckets.
Yeah. Sass, I just want to clarify. Sabonis puts up great numbers. I agree with you. I mean, he is a very, very good player. But when I say somebody is a better basketball player, their skills, they're more talented. All guards, pick any guard in this league, he's a more talented basketball player than Domantas Sabonis is. It's just not fair, like, right? I mean, if you're 6'10", you can't do some of the things that all these smaller guys can do.
Yeah, size is not a talent. Size is not a talent, but it definitely helps in basketball. And when you don't have size, you have to have more talent to make up for that.
For me, I'm not looking at statistics. It's not where you rank in rebounding. It's not where you rank in anything. It's just strictly what can you do on the basketball court. De'Aaron Fox is more talented than Domantas Sabonis will ever be at basketball.
Yeah, Key Kings, I feel you here. Once we started off the game hot, I knew right away what the outcome of this game was going to be. And I feel you. I was right there with you. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe they could win this game. They gave me a little bit of hope. And then they ripped my heart out again. They ripped my heart out. And that's just unfortunate, but it happens. So we got to see Damian Jones play 18 minutes off the bench. As you mentioned, Davion Mitchell, 30 minutes, 27 for DiVincenzo.
More skilled and better.
We got to see Josh Jackson for 4 minutes. It was a quick 4 minutes. I saw him make a shot. I saw him pick up a foul. I saw him turn over the ball. And have an assist, all in that quick little time span. Any thoughts on Josh Jackson? Because we haven't really seen him much. I think maybe 1 or 2 minutes. I know it's only 4 minutes tonight, but still, like, we haven't seen him really at all.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't feel like I can really give any insight into Josh Jackson because the dude just hasn't played. Like, I don't know how you could expect him to be. I don't know what you can expect from him if he's only going to play 4 minutes a game. Like, what are you going to do in that amount of time?
Yeah. Yeah, B. Walston, fans will be regretting this trade for years. I mean, maybe we will, but if you want to regret everything that happens, you're going to be regretting not getting Doncic forever. You're going to be regretting every other guy that you pass on, every trade you did or you didn't do. You just got to move on, man. That's their decision. That's what they did, and you got to root for the best and see what happens. Richaun Holmes didn't play again tonight.
He did not.
We saw him return in the last game. He was listed out in this game about an hour before tip-off with personal reasons. We saw him in street clothes on the bench cheering people on. I saw him give one of these guys when Fox made a layup and one. Any thoughts on this?
You can mark it down. Richaun Holmes is not going to be on this team next year.
I mean, we already knew that.
Did we?
But do you think he's going to play through the rest of this season? We have 15 games left.
I don't see why you would expect him. I don't see why you would expect him to play anymore at this point. Like, when he does play, he doesn't play very many minutes. He's not a starter anymore. It just seems like, I forget that he's on this team sometimes.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, if I'm a GM and I'm looking at it, why play him and hurt his trade value, right? Like, there's nothing Richaun Holmes is going to do the rest of the season that's going to improve his trade value, in my opinion. I think that it'll only hurt him. Hopefully he doesn't get poked in the eye again, because that's always a potential. He's averaging, like, one of those a game or something like that. But, yeah, it's really disappointing. Maybe they had a conversation. Monty was like, hey, Richaun, you already see the writing on the wall. We paid you just like I said I was going to do. Just play with us for the rest of the season, and then we'll facilitate some kind of deal and get you to a better location. Maybe. I don't know. Holmes is a joke this year. Yeah, I mean, it sucks, man. Richaun Holmes is not a bad player. He's not a bad guy. He just is in a bad situation right now.
No, I definitely feel for Richaun. I like him as a person, as a player, all of that. But he's just incredibly dependent on the system and the team around him, right? Like, he's got to be out there with the right group of players in order for him to really be effective.
Mm-hmm. He needs a pass-first point guard.
Trey Lyles. I mean, if he played with De'Aaron Fox like this in the first half of the season, he'd probably look pretty sweet. Like, I mean, they'd be throwing oops to him all day, But problem is he doesn't get to play with the starters anymore. Yeah.
I mean, he's had his time, and he has played well. You're right. He has played well with these starters. So same starting five again tonight, which I know you've been preaching consistency. We see it again. Only 17 minutes for Trey Lyles, which was a little surprising to me. I felt like some of these guys came in early because of the lead that the Kings had, and then they were just kind of struggling towards the second half of this game. Is there a reason you think Trey Lyles didn't get more run? I mean, 2 for 3. He made 2 threes in this game, 4 rebounds. Like, you had a decent game.
Yeah, it was okay overall. I mean, again, I think that they were kind of grasping at straws there defensively towards the end. That's really what cut his minutes off. Because, I mean, he can't stay with Julius Randle on the perimeter or in the post. So then they were trying to put Sabonis on him. That didn't work. They went to that smaller lineup where they had Barnes at the power forward, tried him on Randle a couple of possessions. That didn't work.
Yep.
So I feel like that was probably the key right there, is that he just, in that second half, once the Knicks got going, defensively, Trey Lyles was kind of the odd man out there at the end. And that the power forward position has been, probably the shortest leash in terms of minutes on this team all season long anyway.
Yeah, and a huge hole in this roster that needs to be filled this upcoming offseason. We will see how that happens. Only 11 turnovers tonight for Sacramento. I thought that was a good sign. 12 turnovers tonight. I thought that was a pretty good sign for them. But it doesn't matter when you can't defend the three and you're not rotating on defense and you get out-rebounded and Kings lose by 16. I mean, I'm trying to look for positives here, Calvin. I don't really see that many.
Bless your heart if you can find a positive after blowing your third straight 17-plus point lead.
It's really rare that you see two largest leads over 20, right? The Kings led by 20 and the Knicks led by 23. That right there just shows me that it's a tale of two halves. If you guys didn't watch this game, you guys are lucky, because I suffered through the entire game. And if you didn't see the beginning of the show, make sure you guys fast forward back, because we have a little treat for you at the very beginning there. Sass, I don't understand Gentry doing all the tinkering but keeping Holiday near 30 minutes while he's shooting under 30%.
Yeah.
You still liking Holiday?
I can't really argue with that. I mean, Well, my whole thing is, who do you expect to shoot better over him?
Yeah.
Because if you don't start him, it's one of two people: Dante DiVincenzo and Davion
Mitchell. Yep.
And yeah, I mean, DiVincenzo's had better games recently, but we've seen him have just as bad shooting performances as Justin Holiday. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Holiday still gives you the length and the good perimeter defense.
He's just on an unfortunate shooting slump right now.
Yeah.
He's on a very unfortunate shooting slump. But I, for one, would like to see some changes made. And the reason I say that is just because I don't feel like Holiday is the future at the 2. I just don't. I wouldn't be surprised if he's moved at the offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if he was on the team next year. But I don't think he's going to be on the team much longer than that. I bought the whole he's starting because him and Sabonis have chemistry, but it's been 11 games now. The Kings are falling further out of the spot. Start somebody else. Put Davion Mitchell in there. Put Dante DiVincenzo. At least one of those guys has, in my opinion, a brighter future or more chance of being on this Kings team in the future, being a starting shooting guard. So if you want to preach consistency in the starting lineup, like get one of them in there now.
Yeah.
And I want to see what they have for the rest of the season, especially DiVincenzo, because I got to pay him.
That's true. I mean, I still think you're getting to see a lot of DiVincenzo. Like, the guy's playing in the closing lineup. How many minutes do you have tonight? 27? I mean, it's only 1 minute less than Holiday. So he's basically playing starters minutes already.
Yeah. I just think that there's a big confidence booster when you're a starter. I just think it's a different feel when you're a starter. We saw all the drama with Carmelo, right?
It really depends, man. It's all about the player. I mean, I don't like to use myself as a comparison because I'm not an NBA player, but I did play for a while, and I went through the same thing. I was a starter, and then I got moved to the bench, and it's all about how you focus your attitude towards it. I had some of my best games of my entire career coming off the bench. So
yeah,
I get what you're saying, that there, when you get moved into the starting lineup, it is like a vote of confidence from your coach or whatever. But by the time you make it to the pros, if you're playing late in the fourth quarter, it shouldn't matter to you at that point whether you're a starter or not. You should have the confidence you need from your coach.
Yeah, we've seen players say that. Fred, you like that? We were doing our best Marvin Bagley impression to start off.
Ooh, that was good. That was a good one right there.
All right, I'm done talking about this game, Calvin. I feel like I'm going to cry here. But we got a ton more to talk about. So I think we're going to take a quick break here.
Did anybody watch any of those games yesterday?
I missed yesterday.
The Sunday games were incredible.
Yeah.
It was such a good slate of games. That Celtics Nets
I
game
did catch that one.
Was amazing.
And Tatum.
I mean, I would much rather do a whole show about just those games because they were all incredible. That Nuggets game went to overtime. Did anybody see Jokic's stat line last night?
No, I missed that. Triple-double?
I'm going to find it for you because it was incredible. Yeah, a 40-point triple-double, and he shot like over 50% from the field. It was crazy.
That's crazy. Well, Fred, thank you so much. We appreciate the super chat. And to anybody else out there, if you'd like to buy us a beer, make us feel a little bit better, hit us up down below in the super chat.
Thank you, Fred.
Well, if you need a break, here is your chance. We're going to take a quick one here, and when we come back, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into your Sacramento Kings with Around the Crown. Welcome back. This is Around the Crown. We're talking all things Sacramento Kings and beyond. Join the Royal family by hitting that subscribe button down below. It is free. And while you're down there, make sure you smash up that like button. All right, Calvin, let's hear this stat line.
Listen to this. 46 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks, 16 of 22 from the field, 11 of 12 at the free throw line.
Wow. That's Jokic. Killing it.
Brandon Ingram also had 38 in that game for New Orleans. Crazy game. Jokic also had a triple-double tonight as the Nuggets beat the Warriors, by the way.
I also heard a stat line about Sabonis. Apparently, Sabonis is the only person in the league averaging this. They get on these crazy things here.
I know.
12 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and shooting 57% from the field.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah.
I don't know how they come up with these numbers, but it really is crazy. All right, Calvin, first subject I want to talk about is Julius Randle. Amazing game for him. I know early on in the season and up until about a month ago, people were talking about maybe a De'Aaron Fox for Julius Randle swap. We've seen the Knicks go through a ton of turmoil this season. Derrick Rose is out with injury. They are paying Kemba Walker not to show up. We heard rumblings about maybe Julius Randle and them worried about him. You and I had talked about fit, right? And what kind of guys we could bring in to fit this team. One of the main reasons we didn't want to do a swap for Julius Randle or bring in Julius Randle to play with De'Aaron Fox is we felt like they're two different playing styles, right? Fox likes to push the ball, run fast. Julius Randle likes to slow the game down a little bit. I was thinking about this a little bit today, and I'm like, the Kings team does great when they run fast and they play full court basketball. But when they get slowed down and they get put into a half court offense, like in the second half of this game, they really struggle. Could it benefit them to have their second or third best player being a half court guy like Julius Randle?
Well, the Kings actually played really well in the half court in the first half of this game. And when you have a guy like Sabonis, you should be a good half court team, because if your two best players are your point guard and you have the second best passing big man in the NBA, that's a really good recipe for a good half court offense. I think that Julius Randle and De'Aaron Fox would work really well together too. They would be equally as good in the two-man pick-and-roll game. Julius Randle gives you more outside shooting than Sabonis does. Sabonis gives you more passing than Julius Randle does. But I just between the two of them, like trying to stop that pick and roll with how many options you could go off of it. You're worried about Fox getting to the basket. You're worried about Julius Randle rolling. Then all of a sudden he pops out of the screen for a wide open three. Like that could be pretty devastating. But I mean, it's all hindsight at this point.
Well, we know it takes three guys, right?
Most teams. No, I'm just talking about the two of them together.
It takes three guys. We've seen this over and over now. It seems to be the new recipe of success is it takes three guys to make this happen. The Kings could potentially have a good draft pick here. They have Rashawn Holmes. They have some other guys. In my mind, I'm thinking, wow, the Knicks traded for Cam Reddish. They're trying to get the band back together. Maybe they'll want to bring in Zion. He's not happy with the Pelicans. Maybe he moves to New Orleans. He moves to New York. Maybe the Knicks try and move Julius Randle for some picks and some young talent to try and persuade the Pelicans into trading him. Should the Kings make a run at Julius Randle? What are you willing to give up for him?
Because I think
Fox, Randle, and Sabonis could have a lot of success together.
I think the better question is, what does it take to get him, not what you're willing to give up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I certainly wouldn't be trading De'Aaron Fox for him, because then you're left with no point guards and you got two really good big men inside. That's not. I wouldn't make that move for sure. But if I could get away with somebody or a package like Harrison Barnes and another player and maybe a pick, that's something I would think about. I don't know whether I would do it or not, but I would definitely think about it. Yeah.
I think Davion Mitchell, Rashawn Holmes, and this year's first round pick would do it.
I would probably give up that for Randle. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Kings really do. Ryan, yes, the Kings were up 20, and I saw it all happening. And then again, Kings lose again. As Sass said, bad coaching. Bad coaching, missing shots, just not enough time to gel. There's multiple issues with this team. They keep compiling. They really do. So on that subject, Calvin, I want to do a little check-in. This is the Fox and Sabonis check-in. 11 games so far now. They're 4-7. All these stats that I'm going to repeat, I pulled from before the game, so it's nothing to do with tonight's game. Sabonis is averaging 17, 12, and 6 since joining Sacramento, but he's shooting a career low in three-point percentage at 20%. He's only averaging 1 a game. He's averaging 2.6 free throw attempts per game, which is half of what he's averaged in Indiana.
Yep.
On the other side, De'Aaron Fox is playing incredible. Over the last 10 games, he's averaging 28.2 points per game, 6 assists per game. He's shooting 51% from the field and 32% from three-point range, which, according to some people in the chat, is 2% better than I would shoot. But like I said, the Kings are 4-7 in this time span. Do you feel the same way about this Fox and Sabonis tandem? Are there any things that have changed for you or any things that you've learned over the last 10, 11 games? What are you looking for through the rest of the season, and what can Kings fans look forward to next season?
It's not about those two for me. Those two guys are playing really, really well. I mean, Fox is playing phenomenally right now. Over those whatever it is, 10 games or those stats that you just mentioned, he can't. It's hard for him to play better than that. It really is.
Probably the best 10 games of his career.
Yeah. And Sabonis has been really good too. The problem is that this team is one of the worst in the NBA defensively still.
Ryan, we are tanking.
Yeah, I mean they're tanking by default at this point. They really are. And so yeah, they can't stop anyone, and they rely very heavily on the outside shot, and they have a bunch of really streaky shooters right now.
Yeah.
And they're also just mentally distraught. Like, how could you not be after 3 games like that?
It's not even those 3 games. This has been an emotionally draining season.
The whole season, yes. But most of these guys haven't been with this team for the whole season at this point, right? Like there's a whole new list of players on this team.
About half,
yeah. So, and those guys, some of them came from teams that were losing. Actually, I guess all of them came from teams that were losing as well. So they've experienced it in their own right.
Except for DiVincenzo.
Except for DiVincenzo, yes. Thank you.
Everybody else.
But even he wasn't playing
a rough season
this season. He's been sitting on the bench the whole time. So, yeah, his team was winning, but he wasn't playing.
I mean, he torched the Kings like a month before the Kings got him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, I mean, so my point is that I don't think anybody needs to worry right now about De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. The two of them play well together. They're a good match, I think. Sabonis adds so much stuff to this team that they didn't have before. But yeah, I mean, they need to get a new coach in, and my only concern is that I don't know how to make this team play defense. I don't know. You could take the best coach in the world, or the one coach who you feel like this is the best defensive coach I've ever seen. They still have to want to do it. Like until I see that from them for a whole game, and then a whole consecutive 2 games, and then 3, and then 4, they're not going to be any better.
Yeah. I mean, they need to add more talent to the roster.
Certainly, adding more talent helps. Yeah. Using Sabonis the right way helps. Like continuing to get him the ball on the low block when he is killing people inside in the first quarter.
And their bigs are in foul trouble.
But if you give up more points than you score, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, straight up. Kings need to figure out the mess that is this roster right now. Figure out how to make all these pieces fit. They need to add more talent. They need to leverage their trade pick or their draft pick in a trade, and they just simply need to get better. Like, we talk about 3. It takes 3. It really takes a lot more than 3, but you need 3 core guys to build around, and the Kings have 2 right now.
They gave up 83 points in the second half.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
That was a high-scoring game in the 70s.
It is ridiculous. It is. I agree with Ivan here. We are cursed because Vivek let the sixth-man monument rust at Arco Arena. That's very true.
I saw a tweet. They're going to find a new place for that downtown. Maybe they'll polish it up, and the Kings will get right. But they're not going to get rid of it.
I really hope so. I really do. And speaking of which, Vinny, can you show my screen here? I want to know how many of you guys are going to the farewell tour at Arco Arena. Hold on here. It's not showing up the best on the screen. There we go. It is Saturday, March 19th. If you guys haven't got tickets yet, you need to get them soon. They are free, but you got to do it while you can. I got our tickets today, by the way, so we're all set. Calvin and I are going to be going to the Boston Celtics Sacramento Kings game on Friday, March 18th. As we've been telling you guys, we would love to see you all. Grab a beer, just have an overall good time. And then on Saturday, we will be at the farewell to Arco at 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. If you're a season ticket holder, you can go at noon. But unfortunately, we are not season ticket holders, so we get in at 2 o'clock.
Not yet.
Not yet. But we're excited. We'd love to go. I'm going to have a great time. And as I mentioned before, my mom actually designed the parking lot here, so that's pretty cool. I have a lot of memories at Arco.
Oh, yeah. I think all of us, well, anybody over the age of 15 has a lot of memories about Arco.
Yeah, Ryan, give these guys a season. They need a full season together. They do, but they got to add some talent. They really do. They really do. All right, we're also checking here on this Kings NFT. Unfortunately, I did not get it. I don't know if many of you guys have been listening to the things that I've been talking about, but they're auctioning off an all-star game NFT pass for each team in the NBA. They're all 1-1. They allow you 5 years of access to NBA All-Stars, tickets to all of the All-Star festivities, tours of the arenas, the ability to play on the court, meet the executives, all this cool stuff. The Kings auction ended on Sunday. Top bid, $41,000. Crazy. Which is tied for the lowest so far with the Charlotte Hornets.
As you would expect.
And the Phoenix Suns. The Lakers only went for like 51,000. So unfortunately I missed out on that. But if one of you guys won that bid, hit me up because I would love to go with you guys to All-Star game. I've never been before. All right, Calvin, last piece of news here. Chelsea, the soccer team.
Chelsea FC.
Why is it in the news?
I actually don't know what you're about to say.
Well, I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but I read an article today that Vivek is putting an offer to purchase it.
Well, sorry, Chelsea FC.
He said he wants to be the first ever owner from Indian descent to own a major league soccer team. So, I mean, he's putting together a pretty serious bid.
Hey.
I guess the current owner is a Russian billionaire, not everyone's favorite person right now. So I don't know if he is liquidating the team for assets or he's just ready to move on. Yeah. But pretty crazy to hear that.
I totally forgot to mention LeBron James' 56 points yesterday when we were talking. I saw LeBron in the chat here. Man, the dude is incredible. Oldest player in NBA history by a long shot. He actually broke his own record.
That was 2 nights ago when we were streaming during the Warriors game.
No, that was Sunday night, wasn't it?
I think it was Saturday.
Well, either way, it's very noteworthy and deserves to be talked about. The guy's incredible. I don't care how many people hate on LeBron. The dude's...
He's ridiculous.
You hate him because you ain't him. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not like Mark Cuban. I'll burn a second-round pick to get Bronny James to bring LeBron here. You want to change the culture on the Sacramento Kings? Bring LeBron James here. Bring LeBron James.
It would probably help. Yeah.
And also, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the new Lakers Dynasty show. Did you get a chance to watch it yet on HBO?
I have not.
It is absolutely hilarious. John C. Reilly is playing Jerry Buss. You get to see Kareem, not the Kareem that we know. He tells the little kid to F off. And then you also get to see the dark side of what's his name, Jerry West, unhappy with all the losses and how they're haunting him. But I'm disappointed that there was only one episode, because I think I've got addicted to this like binge watching. So I like don't pick a show unless there's like 2 or 3 seasons, you know, so I can just go through it. But the first episode I think came out on Friday. Check it out, guys. It's awesome. It's on HBO, but you guys should definitely check it out. Bron is my favorite player. Kings is my favorite team. I'm the same, man. I agree 100% with you. LeBron has been my favorite player for a really long time, and he played his first game in Sacramento against the Kings.
He sure did. He lit him up, just like he lights up everybody.
First NBA game. I think he had like 25, 7, and 5 or something in that game. Something ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous. Yeah. All right, guys, it's break time again, but when we come back, we're going to take a look at the Kings' next week of basketball with Kings Crusade. So don't go anywhere. Welcome to Royal Rebounds, a Sacramento Kings YouTube channel for fans by fans. The Kings continue their crusade, I guess to tank at this point, Calvin. Next up is the Denver Nuggets. If you're a Kings fan, make sure you hit that like button down below, and please consider subscribing to the channel. Bron is going to be 38 next year.
Yeah, and the dude just had 56 and 10.
I don't care how old LeBron is. If he's playing basketball, I want him on my team.
Tom Brady's going to be, what, 43? 4 next year?
Oh, yeah, 44. Wow.
I bet you there's a lot of teams that'll still sign him.
I'll take Tom Brady on the Kings at this point.
Yep.
All right, so next up is the Denver Nuggets. The Kings are 0-3 this season against Denver. And as you mentioned, you want to throw that stat line out there again of Jokic had an incredible game. Was it yesterday?
How did I know you were going to ask me? Because I saved it.
Was it yesterday?
It was just yesterday. 138 to 130. Nuggets beat the Pelicans, the red-hot Pelicans, in overtime. 46 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks, 16 of 22 from the field, 11 of 12 at the free throw line, 3 of 5 from 3.
That's absolutely ridiculous. But hey, beating the Pelicans is good for the Kings' chances to make the play-in, and that's the last time I'm going to even say that word.
Until you, yeah, that's a banned word. We need, Vinny, can you hit the buzzer? That is a banned hyphenated words, one word, right? Plan.
Yeah, maybe just bleep it out every time I say the Kings are making the
There is no more talk of the plan on this show.
All right, Calvin, let's jump here into your keys of the game against Denver. And are we rooting for a Kings win at this point? I know it's a home game.
Well, we're always rooting for a Kings win, right? Like,
yeah,
you can't call yourself a fan if you're not rooting for a win.
I mean, I've seen people rooting for losses and call themselves fans, but it's
some people want a better draft pick. I'm here to tell you that the odds are stacked against you. Like there aren't enough games left for them to lose for them to really make an impact on that. So,
I look at it like betting against my football team. It's a win-win because if the Kings lose, they have a better draft pick. If they win, I'm happy because they won.
There you go. Barry's always such an optimist. It's amazing. Okay, so keys to the game. Don't play the first half. I don't know. Now, key number 1 is going to be Sabonis foul watch. Look, obviously it's going to be tough going against Jokic. The dude he's the best big man in the game right now. Maybe Joel Embiid is there with him, but Joel Embiid doesn't have 10 assists every night. So the Kings need Sabonis to stay on the court. He can't get ejected. He can't foul out. Damian Jones has nightmares of Nikola Jokic. He does not want to see that dude. And I don't think Rashawn Holmes is playing tomorrow either. So Sabonis has got to stay out of foul trouble. They need him to play late into this game and not have to be worried about picking up a foul or play tentative because he's in foul trouble. Number 2, guard the 3. Will Barton lit him up last time they played. Monty Morris. Game-winning 3 at the buzzer there.
That shouldn't have counted.
Buzzer, but
that shouldn't have counted.
It shouldn't have counted, yeah. It still went in, and it counted. So guard the three, and then number three will be transition defense. The Nuggets, they're a great passing team. Like, they don't push the ball ahead with the dribble. They push it ahead with the pass, and they look to push it ahead early and often. The Kings are a horrible transition defense team. So that's definitely going to be something they need to focus on. Off of a made basket or a missed basket. I mean, I can add turnovers in there too, because turnovers help you get out and run, and the Kings have turnover issues, as we have already well documented, but transition D in general.
What are you looking for in this Boogie Cousins return to Sacramento? Because we got robbed of this about a month ago due to some technicalities. I think this is only going to be his second game back in Sacramento.
Yeah, since like 2017 or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Just they better be ready, because
he's been playing.
He's coming
really well.
He's coming for blood. That's for sure.
He really is here. Yeah, I mean, why win? You play to win the game. That's why. But you look at the Suns. Everyone would have been pissed at them for winning 8 in a row in the bubble. They were able to use that as momentum to come back the next year. Like I said, I'm an optimist. I try and look at, the positives of everything. If they lose, they get a better draft pick, theoretically, but maybe not. There's still the draft lottery and all that stuff. The Kings are definitely not going to get worse than the Rockets or some of these the Pistons or some of these other teams. Yeah. They can lose all the rest of the games. They're not going to have a worse record than one of those.
Kings, I didn't see Sabonis bump into the official after the game, but if he is going to be suspended for a game, then there's no point in me having any keys for this game.
Yeah, we'll just lose all the games now. Dennis, you love the Lion logo. Awesome. We're going to be having a new shirt come out with the Lion logo. So make sure you check out royalrebounds.com/shop. And on that topic, I want to make some big news for all of you guys, which I forgot to bring up in the last section. And that is, we have officially launched the Vinny Squatch t-shirt. It is on royalrebounds.com. Make sure you guys cop it. It will be there for a limited time. And we released a pretty cool studio tour earlier today. If you have not seen that, make sure you check it out. It's kind of from Vinny's perspective of how the show happens. He breaks down everything that happens here in the studio, how it all works. And there is also a coupon code in the description for a discount off of your own Vinny Squatch t-shirt. So you got to go there to get the code.
And he really gets to showcase his talent in that studio tour.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, I mean, this show is amazing, the production value to it, but watch that video. It's really, really good.
Yes, and also, if you watch that video, I want you to comment down below in the comments how many pull-ups you can do.
There you go.
All right, so looking here at the schedule, like I said, Nuggets, then you got the Jazz, the Bulls, the Bucks, the Celtics. Ouch, this is a rough 5-game stretch, Calvin. Yep. And as we mentioned, we're going to be there in Sacramento on the 18th for Kings Celtics, so make sure you guys check us for that. But Calvin, I mean, looking at these 5 games here, I don't want to say it, but
into the tank we go.
0-5?
I mean, they've given you absolutely no reason to think that they could win any of these games. Even if they're up at halftime, they give you no reason to think that they can win any of these games.
One of these games and they're not up 20, I think they got a chance. If they're up 20, that's when I'm worried.
Maybe.
That's like peak fear for me. Oh, Kings are up 20 and it's early. Like today I was watching the game and I'm just like, why is this game so long?
Yeah.
Why can't the game be shorter? Why does it have to be 48 minutes today? But, if they go on a 5-game losing streak here, I mean, this will be, 7 games now? 7-game losing streak if they lose the next 5. Then they'd fall to 24 and 40, what is that, 48? No, 47. And you have 10 games left. It's over, guys. It really is over. Anybody that thinks the Kings are making the playoffs or the play-in tournament at this point is delusional.
Benny, hit that buzzer. It's a banned word.
Oh, yeah, I said it again.
It's a banned word.
And, I mean, don't get me wrong. If they made that word, I would be stoked. I would be so happy. I'd be one of the happiest guys. I'd probably flip this whole table over. have a great time. But I'm a realist at the same time. It ain't going to happen, guys.
Ain't going to happen. I mean, they can only afford to lose like
it ain't going to happen.
3 of the last, how many games left? 16, 15?
15.
15. They might even, they can't lose more than 3 of those games. That's for sure. And there's no way that's happening.
Yeah. But you guys do have 15 more opportunities to tune into this post game and have Calvin and I entertain you guys and enjoy some beers and hang out with the Royal family. It doesn't matter how good or how bad the Kings are. We'll still be here. We'll be having fun. We'll give you a shoulder to cry on or somebody to laugh with.
Yeah. At this point, we're all crying and laughing at the same time.
I mean, look at Peja.
Yeah, Peja's passed out.
He's in pieces.
Yeah.
He's in shambles. Where's the puke guy when you need him? Tank. Oh, man. Did you guys like the start of the show? Should we start it out like that every time? If you guys haven't seen the start, make sure you rewind all the way to the very beginning. You will love it. You will absolutely love it. All right, Calvin. I got nothing else to say here. How about you?
Go Sacks.
Go Sacks. Oh, man. The Kings are absolute garbage. But you guys are awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in so much. We're all a team. We're all part of the Royal family.
We'll get James Ham on here, and we'll have that discussion.
We all want the Kings to get better. So, yeah, we'll get some interesting guys on here in the next couple weeks. We'll have some good conversations. We're also going to be doing a couple shows from Vegas and also one from Sacramento. So make sure you guys check us out for that. But thank you all for joining us on another episode or another show post game. Make sure you smash up that like button down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We will see you all Wednesday following the Kings-Nuggets game. Hopefully it's not too brutal. But you guys have a wonderful night. In the meantime, go Kings.